this is TJS, coach of the Tentacle Pirates, and welcome to week 8 of PAC YouTube season 3. So this week we are up against Matt Oshia, coach of the Montreal Milotics. So Matt has a team of Annihilate, Iron Threads, Hydreigon, Talonflame, Quillfish, Raichu, Poltergeist, Tadam-Spurs, Zoroark. So he got a solid team of 9 months with some pretty good threats, especially the Annihilate, which is always a big annoying Pokemon to face against, and he also has some good Terra mons like the Poltergeist, which with Shell Smash and Terra it's pretty strong, and his other Terra mons are the Talonflame and the Raichu. So his team is so solid that he can bring any 6 against me and they'll probably be good. But I do expect the top 3, then you have Iron Threads and Hydreigon to come. Probably the Talonflame comes, and then I don't think the Quillfish comes, and then 2 of Raichu, Poltergeist, Tadam-Spurs and Zoroark. So the first mon we are bringing this week is the Screamtail. So this is gonna be our Annihilate check. It's not a good check, but it's a decent one. So we bring this on Annihilate every time. So if it's like a sub bulk up set, we just Perish Song and then wait for it to switch out, so we can switch out to something else. And if it's like a Scarf with U-turn or something like that, we can just chip it with Helmet, and we do have more HP than Annihilate. So Final Gambit should not take us out, but even if it does, I'm happy to trade Screamtail for Annihilate. So Rage Fist without boosted doesn't do a lot to us, and Helmet chip will do some damage to so our target is to just not hit it and make it take Helmet chip and use Perish Song to stop its bulk up stuff. Next up we have the Dondozo. So this time we're running a Spadef Dondozo with AV and max attack. So he has quite a few special threats more than the physical threats, and his physical threats are which is the Annihilate, which I don't think Dondozo can counter since Rage Fist will just boost up and ignore Unaware, and he has the traits and the Talonflame, both of which I think Dondozo doesn't need a lot of investment to deal with, and both are threatened by liquidation quite well. So I'm just running a AV set with max attack to do some good damage to his mons. It also helpful against something like a setup Poltergeist, because we should be able to take a Giga Drain if it's Terra Grass from it pretty well. The only problem is we don't ignore the special attack drops from Hydreigon, Draco Meteor, but at least it can't nasty pot on us. So we got liquidation for Stab, Rockslide to hit something like the Talonflame if it doesn't Terra, Earthquake for the Quillfish, which I might not bring, but just in case, and it also is the Raichu fairly, and then Avalanche for the Hydreigon. Next we have the Ochian. So Ochian is mixed bulky this set, so this mainly for something like the Zoroark and the Raichu, because we have running Taunt for stopping something like spike stacking by the Quillfish, and we have Leech Seed for recovery, and then we have Giga Drain and Body Press, because we have some Body Press hits a lot of his mon very super effectively. We got defenses on both sides to take hits on both ends. Next we have the Iron Thorn. So this is our anti-setup mon this week against the Poltergeist. So we have the Mirror Harp. So if the we switch in this thing on Poltergeist most times, because if Poltergeist doesn't have the we are always outspeed Poltergeist. So if it goes for the Shell Smash, we will copy the boosts and then we can knock it out with a Thunder Punch. And if it tears to something, then we can also go for low kick, but it probably won't do a lot. Low kick is mainly for the Iron Threads and the Hydreigon, 2 of his Thunder Punch resist. And then we have Sub just in case if the Poltergeist want to go for something like the Strength Sap, we can just sub up. And then we can also go for Dragon Dance as well if we can afford to. Next we have the Gengar. So Gengar is just there for one of our offensive presence. It's not, he has some counters to it like the down spurs and the Iron Trails, both of which can be bulky enough to take the hits, but Gengar does outspeed both. So if we cannot knock it out, we can just go for Destiny Bond to get a double KO. Besides that, we have double stab in Shadow Ball and Surge Bomb, and then have Dazzling Gleam to hit the Hydreigon a bit harder. And the final one is the Great Tusk, which is just another standard offensive set with double stab, Ghost Combat, Headlong Rush, Rock Slide just for the down frame, which resists the other 2 moves. And if it tears to something else, then it won't resist Ghost Combat or Headlong Rush, so there's that. And we have Rapid Spin for getting some speed boost. It also has Hazard Control. So we have ourselves the Assault Vest. With Assault Vest, if the Talon Flame decides to go special instead of physical, then we can take some hits, and we can also sponge a few hits from like a Hydreigon. So that is gonna be our team for this week. Now let's move on to the battle. Okay, so Matt has decided to bring the Talon Flame, the Hydreigon, the Raichu, the Anilep, the Taraspurs, and the Iron Threads. So he did not bring the Poltergeist. So some of our prep with Iron Thorns is wasted, but Thorns still should be able to put up some work in game. And he also hasn't bring the Zorwork, so we don't have to go for some prediction game. So I just decided to lead with the Dondozo, expecting this lead actually, the Iron Threads. So he might either just set up rocks or just go to Hydreigon, so eat the board switch, yeah. And so I decide not to predict round 1 and just go for a liquidation. Yeah, he's probably gonna switch in the Hydreigon, who should take some damage since we are max attack. Yeah, so the liquidation does do around like 15 to 20%. So now I don't know if he goes for a Draco or something, because if he's something like Specs, he might think he can KO us with Draco. So I just decided to go for the Avalanche. Hopefully he wouldn't U-turn into the Anilep, which would give it a Rage Fist boost. Yeah, he turns out. Yeah, fortunately he goes into the Anilep, which was probably the worst case for us, but it doesn't do a lot. But it's not leftovers Anilep, so it can be Resto Chesto, or it's probably a Scarf set. So now I can't let this thing set up, so I just decided to go for the liquidation in case he sets up a sub or decides to perk up. I do pick its with liquidation, but it just decides to U-turn out, maybe into the Hydreigon again. U-turn also indicates that it's probably a scarf set, it's not a backup set, I guess. The liquidation does a solid chunk, gets another useless defense drop. So here I predicted to go for the U-turn again into the something else, so I just go for a liquidation, but now he decides to go for the Draco, which we take by the way since we are max PDFAV, and the liquidation does do another solid chunk. So now I decide to switch out to my Screamtail because he either Draco again if he's logged in, or he turns and takes some helmet chip, both of which are fine. Yeah, he turns out, so he's not choice locked and takes some helmet chip. So with all this interaction we just got like our Dondozo for the Hydreigon, but he did have a boosted HP now, so that would be a bit of a problem. So yeah, he switches to the Iron Traits, which was pretty obvious, and so my switch into this thing is the Tusk, which I don't think it has any way to touch it. I think the best it can do is knock off our item. Yeah, and he just goes for the knocking off our AV, which should be fine, I guess. Yeah, so here I thought he will go to something like the Talon Flame, so I decided to go for Rapid Spin to get like a speed boost, and then I can hit it for some damage, but instead he goes to the Annihilate, which he might have probably expected something like a Ghost Combat, but yeah, the spin just gets wasted. So now, since I know this thing is choice locked and it's not doing a lot to us, so I decided to expected it to go for a U-turn, so I go for the spin again. The Headlong Rush does a good chunk, so I actually really don't expect it to stay in. However, he just decides to stay in and go for the Ice Punch, which is not a 2-hit kill by the way, and we just go for the spin again, which like, yeah. So now I can go into my Screamtail to give it some helmet chip, and then we can wish back our Tusk. Yeah, he just goes for an Ice Punch. Thankfully it doesn't freeze us, and so now we are free to go for a wish. He's probably switching the traits again, and we can get our Tusk almost back to full. Yeah, he switches the traits again and get our wish up, and we get our Tusk healed. So I can go to Dondozo, but I think health on Tusk is more important. So I go back to my Tusk. He knows he can Vow switch out, so he may just pull off a double into something, but that should be fine. You can always sack Dondozo on to something to scout some moves out. Yes, so he doubles into the Talon Flame, expecting the Tusk, I guess, but that's fine since we are getting the health back, and So this Talon Flame, I don't think it's HD since we have a Dozo, so it can be special or it can be something like Willow. A bulky Willow is set. So I'm sack my Dozo here to see what it wants to do. It might just U-turn out, but yeah. So he goes for a Hurricane that should knock us out, but now we know that this is a special Talon Flame. Yeah, so yeah, if we had the AV we would have been fine, but since we do not have the AV, this might knock us out. So now I feel this is a great time to get the Terra off on my snail. I'm not Terraing my Iron Thorns this week. I don't think we need to Terra it to get the best out of it. So also I don't want it to get burned because I don't know if the Talon Flame is Willow Sword, that's why I didn't switch in my Thorns. But he goes for the U-turn, so now that makes me believe that I don't think this Talon Flame has Whisper Taunt, because I think it has Roost and probably some other moves, because Hurricane doesn't hit my whole team very well. And so he goes to the threats again and he gets the seeds on to get some chips. So now looking at hindsight, Terra Fairy might not have been the best, but yeah, but I do check trades with other mons, so I don't think it's a big deal. But yeah, so as usual I switch in my Tusk again on this thing. We might just pull off another double, but I don't think we lose too much anyways. Yeah, he pulls another double, gets in the Raichu. This is one of his other possible Terra captains, so this thing also might Terra, so we have to be wary of that. So Raichu definitely has Grass Knot, and I definitely think it's packing Grass Knot, and since we do not have the AV anymore, Grass Knot probably also knock us out if it's like a boosting item. So yeah, the best course here is to switch back into my Ochian. Unless it's Rhyhorn, Ochian should be able to take 2 Thunderbolts also, even if it like nasty pots. Yeah, he just goes for the raw Grass Knot, which doesn't do a lot, and he's also not Life Orb, so yeah, we can knock it out with, I don't think I knock it out with 2 Giga Drains. So if even it tries to Nasty Pot, I do think we will get out of that interaction alive with the Ochian. Yeah, he just goes for the Nasty Pot. Yeah, with the Giga Drain healing and the leftovers, we should be easily able to take 2, unless we get great, of course. So yeah, we go for the Giga Drain. It does like 40%. The Raichu goes for the Thunderbolt, which doesn't do more than half. So unfortunately my capture card decided to do some glitching here. But yeah, so basically he goes for the T-Boat and I go for the Giga Drain to get some health back. As you can see, it doesn't to hit KO us and we to get the Raichu out with Giga Drain. So yeah, so the Raichu was not a very big, but it was pretty good against my team. So knocking that thing out was good. Now, yeah. So now I think he goes to the trades to knock us out with something like the Iron Head, because this thing is very low and I don't think it can check anything in his team at this point. So he decides to go to the Hydreigon. So I was wondering what this thing was gonna do. Then I removed. Then I remember it gets fast cannon. So which is actually fair because I do have a Scream Tail in the back. So yeah, he knocks out Ochian with flash cannon. But yeah, Ochian was like has lost its use at that point. So now I can go to my Scream Tail to threaten it and get a Wish Up, but I don't have anything in the back that's need healing. So I just go to my Gengar to get a Dazzling Gleam off, because this thing is not scarred, we figured out. So yeah, I also didn't think he would save this thing, but he decides to save it. Yeah, and he goes into the Spurs. So unfortunately I have not brought Will-O-Wisp or Focus Burst to cripple this to get some good damage on this thing. So I decided to go for Surge Bomb, hoping to get a poison. I mean, Spurs does run special sets many times, so it's not like burning would have been a great thing on it anyway, and I don't think it knocks us out at this range, so I don't think Destiny Bonding is gonna help us here. So I just decided to go for a Surge Bomb. We get a crit and it goes for the Gaia to paralyze. I actually forgot that this thing got Gaia, but now the Gengar is like paralyzed. It's like not very useful. Unfortunately, we do not get the KO with the Surge Bomb, but we do get the poison, and we are also faster than it even after we are paralyzed, so that's good to know. So now the next Surge Bomb definitely doesn't KO, so I decide to go to my Scream Tail to see what this. It's just gonna roost again, I assume. Yeah, he just goes for the roost again. So I can switch in my Iron Thorns here, but Spurs does get Arc Power and I don't want to risk it, so I decide to try to scout out its move, what he wants to do, and go for a Wish. Unfortunately, we are gonna get parried also on this thing. Yeah, so I mean, I have nothing in back that needs healing, so I just decide to protect and get my health back here and see what it does. Well, we get full parried, but not that it's matter. While this thing just spams clear, he probably expecting maybe a task switching, I don't know. But yeah, at this point I don't think we can afford to get our task paralyzed. So we got another wish to see if it decides to hurt us this turn, but he just roosts again. This thing is gonna be a pain to deal with. and we can also afford to switch in Tusk because of the gear spam. We'll get full parade again. While I just gear spams trying to catch the Tusk in the back. So it doesn't have leftovers. That does lead me to believe that this thing is Chopperberry. So this shows its move to be Hex, which with pass gear is a very good combo, I guess. So I do think it can touch Iron Thorns. So this is gonna be, I think, a good turn to switch in Thorns, because if he roosts or gears or even Hex, we can don't do a lot to us. We switch out Screamtail into our Iron Thorns, and I don't know if he just predicted or he just decided enough. He just switched back to his Annihilate. So yeah, we don't stay on this thing. CC is gonna murder us, so I just go back to my Screamtail, which was our original check for this thing, but with boosted Rage Fist I don't think we can check it anymore, and we are also paralyzed. But yeah, he just goes for the Rage Fist, which should knock us out. Yeah, it does knock out us, but it does give it the helmet chip, and I think Tusk can knock it out at this range since this thing is offensive. So here I just decided to not predict anymore. If he switches in Talonflame, then he switches in Talonflame. There's nothing I can do, so I just go for the Headlong Rush. Yeah, he just decides to go for a Rage Fist. It shouldn't knock us out. Yeah, it doesn't do half, and it should knock it out. Yeah, Headlong Rush just kills the Annihilate. So if this thing was carved, that does help our Iron Thorns a bit, because now we can, if we get a Dragon Dance up, we should be able to outspeed his whole team, unless he trades his Scarf, which hopefully it is not, I guess. Technically he switches in the Talonflame or the Hydreigon. I will probably have to sack my Gengar and then go to trades, or yeah, I think then go to Thorns. Yeah, so he does bring in Talonflame, so we have to sack Gengar here. Nothing we can do. So there he reveals a Terra, which is Terra Grass. So it's probably Terra Grass, Terra Blast, I guess. Yeah, he doesn't risk the Hurricane Mace, he just goes for the Terra Blast. But yeah, we should be able to take that hit pretty well. Now I have no idea if he, yeah, he doesn't either want to take the Hurricane, so he just goes for the U-turn, doesn't predict the, hopefully he doesn't go into the threats, because we do click Surge Bomb. I think he just sacks the Hydreigon, I guess, but he just goes into the threats. Well, that's unfortunate, but yeah. I mean, now this thing just knocks us out. with earthquake here. But we can go into the task and get a spin up to outspeed his team, at least the Talon Flame. Yeah, now he doesn't have an IUF, so after we get a spin up, we should be able to knock out most of his team. I don't know if Talon Flame leaves a CC. We'll find out, I guess. Yeah, I go for the spin to get the boost, and now I should outspeed his whole team. Tusk should be in a pretty good position now. Yeah, so CC should knock this thing out now, even if it's chopper, because it thing is very deep invested. Yeah, it is the chopper berry, and it still knocks it out. You get a drop on our both defenses, but I don't think it matters. Iron Trace still shouldn't knock us out, and Talon Flame or Hydra would have knocked us out even if we are not, like, even if we without the drop. So yeah, I don't think we knock this thing out with CC, but we might get a crit, and it just lives on a C there, so that's very unfortunate. If we had, and we get the flame body burn, but yeah. So in hindsight, this is actually better, because now I can set up with my traits on this thing, which we couldn't have if we knocked it out, because I don't think burned Tusk will KO the iron threads, and iron threads will one shot taunts with the EQ. So now the only thing I can expect is, like, he doesn't have Whisper taunt over as his fourth move, and I don't think Terra Blast kills us, so I just have to go for the Dragon Dance here. Yeah, he just goes for the Terra Blast. Yeah, it doesn't knock us out, and we do get the D-Dance up. Now we have to hope that we don't get burned, because both of our moves are contact moves. Yeah, Thunder Punch knocks it out, and yeah, we do not get burned. Okay, so so Hydreigon is a knockout, but I have no idea what the traits item is. If it's Scarfed, we are gone anyways. If it's Chopper, we also lose, but I can't do anything but hope for the best and go for Rocky here. So fortunately he is not Chopper or Scarf, so we do get the knockout on traits, so that should seal the deal, because Hydreigon is pretty low and it's not Scarfed, as we found out earlier. Yeah, okay, it should just seal the deal. Yeah. Alright, so we managed to win the game 1-0. Yeah, GG's to Matt. That was a well played game, and with that win I do think we make playoffs now. So yeah, I can do whatever I want in the last match, but yeah, that's all for today. Bye.